Good afternoon. Part 3 of my story. So, to summarize part 2, I had a baby. I did it through artificial insemination. My parents were upset, but I saved the day for them in the end by marrying a man that I met at church. Well, they got to feel saved and that their prayers were answered for a little bit. But let's go into part 3. So, part 3, I am done with the dinner that we had after the little ceremony at the Justice of the Peace. Everybody leaves, including my daughter. That was the first night I knew I'd never spent a night away from her because, for reasons we haven't discussed yet, I didn't want her spending the night with my parents. So I was the first night I'd spent away from her. And she was staying with my brother and sister-in-law. So my now husband, we go to the hotel. We're going to leave the next day on a plane ride to Bahamas. Complete freak out. Okay, complete freak out. Bawling, crying. At this point, it wasn't necessarily because of my fear. Okay, it was my daughter and leaving her and feeling like, oh my gosh, it's going to be okay. So that's the first sign that you'll see later when I talk about almost worshiping my daughter, even though I'm a Christian. If you're not a Christian, Christians are not supposed to worship anybody but God. And I definitely made an idol out of her. I put her before God, which you'll see how that explodes into a bigger problem later. So we're at the hotel. I'm crying. Now, he knows my story. He knows I had been with women. It didn't bother him, and I cried. Slept a little bit. He asked me if I wanted to go home the next morning, which I thought was incredibly nice. And I said, no, I'm not going to do that to you. I'll be okay. Let's get on the plane. So we get on the plane. We go to the Bahamas. It was pretty okay at the beginning. And this was back then when you had to pay a lot of international charges. So I'm not calling my daughter. She's 3 anyways.